and that you'd love to huddle up with them if it makes sense on any changes or items that would make sense.
Get deck pages, not print screens from the agent's computer. State Farm is synonymous with that. Who are we doing?
Mark Ferris.
Yeah. So no, not Mark Ferris.
Oh yeah.
Hanson. Yeah. So
Ferris was another office.
yeah. So State Farm sent us screen prints, and they have all the information there, but it's all coded, and we can't figure it out. I'm sure Dan Power or Shepard, those guys can figure it out, but just using that for me just to say, hey, look, I appreciate the screen prints. Is there any way we can get you to call them off and get copies of deck pages and forward to us? So the actual declaration page the client gives is what you're looking for. It's got all the stuff that we need on it. That's what the screen.
Dan, an independent agent, who does he normally place the policies with?
It varies. Pure Travelers.
Got about 6 that he
uses.
The irony, I was late because I was on the phone with Travelers. They're not processing a claim for a client he just became a client, but he's been fighting with them since May. And so I was on the phone with him. Does anybody have good or bad experience with Travelers on claims?
Usually they pay.
Usually they pay.
I don't know who Shepard uses, but I'm sure Travelers is in that foray, or some subsidiary of Travelers, but that's a pretty decent company. Okay.
And I don't know the situation, but there's certain things that you can go and do a whole lot for the client. That would be one where you got to get that in an expert's hand of someone that has maneuvered through the channels and the claims process. A lot of the bigger carriers in town, from a volume and size perspective, Greger and Appel, Shepard and the like, have their own, particular claims adjuster for that company in-house. So they deal with that particular carrier every day because they have the volume in order to do it. So, not picking on what you were doing.
No, but that's exactly the problem.
Bring in somebody who will help win your future business by doing a great job for this particular client.
I started with the agent, and they're like, well, we have an 800 number we call.
Yeah,
time for a new agent.
Time for a new agent.
Time for a new agent. Yeah. That's top of the list of things to do.
I'm oftentimes crass in this, but they're as much of a vendor as Fidelity is. If Fidelity sucked, we replace Fidelity. So, they have to be a good vendor in that particular situation. There's been maybe 1 or 2 client referrals from Property and Casualty Insurance in the history of the firm. So find a good vendor of somebody that can provide your client the best, available opportunity of the marketplace, and who can be an advocate, for what you're doing, but is never going to drive any business to you. So,
who else is on there besides G&A and Shepard?
It's on the agenda, and we'll go through it here.
Sorry to interrupt. Good question, Ollie.
583.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, 18 minutes late, you don't get any business.
11.
I think you have to, in order to understand what's going on, in order to present in the module piece. My style, which could be different for other people, but I don't go into a full-on detailed presentation in the module as we're working through it, because rarely is the property and casualty insurance the thing that's on the most fire for new clients. I think it's a great continued value add piece. I will lay the groundwork to say in the next 2, 3, 5, 6, 9 months, however long it takes, we're going to do a deeper dive here, but we've looked at it, and on a macro level, you need to consider these 5, 6 things. So I think you need to be able